Hello everyone and welcome back to a new episode of the OSCP journey. Today's episode is going to be about an Active Directory box which called Active. It's an easy box. So there are two main ways to get to pound this box. The first one is going to be through an SMB which has a forgettable C password. We're gonna check that in a while. And the second method, I've read that on an article on the internet which called zerologon. We're gonna check that. We're gonna use zerologon tester, then the exploit script. I'm gonna try to be sure to leave that in the description. However, if I forgot, please let me know in the comments because I have so bad memory. Now let's just get started. So here we can see I've run Rust scan. However, now we are moving on. I used to run Rust scan, then I would run nmap against the ports that I'm interested in. However, you can write two dashes, then pass on the stuff that you are interested in, the parameters or the flags or whatsoever that you are interested in, to pass them to nmap. Let me check the results. However, I've ran that, so I won't wait that much. It had some issues. It didn't print out everything. No, it did. It did. So here we can see 445. We're gonna start with that. How to start with that, you might ask. I would tell you SMP map, the one and only. However, here instead we're gonna provide only active.hackthebox, and it's gonna provide us with all the SMB stuff that might interest us. So replication is read only. We found um, what the heck? What's it called? Share. We found the share, and we want to connect to that. So our cute friend SMB client, I would tell him, please active hack the box, and I want replication connection through uh, without any stuff. He told me, okay, my friend, and we can either move into oops, move into active. Okay, cd, if I can write that correctly. We can move into here, then read all the folders, or we can write recursive on. Oops, let me get that through my notes. So here are my notes. Recurse on, prompt off, then mget star. Let's write that. So now we have downloaded everything. Let's exit and cd into, or I'm gonna just list everything. So we are searching for the group.xml file. You can search on Google. What does that mean? However, you might find that only on the old DCs, domain controllers on Windows, I believe below 2019's, which has Cpassword. Let's just check that file. Where was it? Let me check that again. So policies and into 3.1 machine. Let's move to there. And here is it. Let's get that. So we are interested in the Cpassword field. We can take that, either take it directly or make a file and then crack that. We can I've copied that and I'm just gonna run the gbp decrypt, and here is our Cpassword. You might ask, okay, how I'm gonna use this password? So in addition to Cpassword, we are interested in the name of the service ticket that related to that password. So here we see the name of the account. So I'm gonna use our friendly friend, the SMB map. I'm gonna tell him Active Directory. Then the domain is called Active HackTheBox. I believe here I need to use the IB, which is this. Domain is active.hackthebox. The user is svc underscore tgs, and the password is gbb still standing strong, which is a big lie, a big mistake. And we're gonna connect. So we see all these shares. Let's connect to users. Maybe we can find the user flag. So I would say our cute friend, not friendly friend, our cute friend this time, SMB client. I would tell him this, then I'm gonna tell him I need the users, and inside the U I would provide active, if I can spell that correctly, active hack the box, then svc tgs, and the password is the big lie that they are telling us. Connection failed. Maybe I've used users. Okay, we list that. We go into, can we see desktop? Nah. Maybe we try svg tgs, cd into desktop, and we see the user. Let's get that. And exit. Cat users. Let me submit that, because I have fish memory and I will probably forget to submit that later. And now to get the admin, how to get that? So we can use the password that we get and all the infos that we have, and we're gonna make sure that we use the get user SPN. So we write get user SPN dash request dash DCIP. So you might see this command on the internet. However, you just need to change the IP, and you provide the domain controller and the SVC TGS account, aka the full name of the SPN, then dash save output SPNs dot out. Then you provide the password, and the GBB is still standing strong. Let me copy that and put that here. So let's check. It's here. Get out, and we have this hash. We can crack that through hashcat, not hashcat, oh my gosh, I mean hashcat. We're gonna say, not the KRP, get users SPN out, and rockq, and it's gonna take a few seconds. And here is the password, the cracked hash, to be honest. So let me copy that. Make sure, yep, it's here. Then I'm gonna connect through BZExec to the main controller, active dash HackTheBox administrator and the IP of the domain controller. Now we need to provide the path that we copied and that we cracked the hash for. And who am I? Now we are into authority system. Let me cd back, cd into users. Okay, directory. Okay, not here. Oops, I failed. I'm gonna cd back, then here, cd into users, cd into administrator, and cd into desktop, hopefully. And here we're gonna find the root, type root.txt, and here is our root. However, I'm not gonna submit that yet, so the window doesn't end. I'm gonna share with you the second method to take over the domain. Let me exit that. Okay. The second method. Okay. So first of all, let's check this link. I'm gonna move here. So the second method, depending on zerologon testing script, you can check that, read about this. The machine is old enough to be vulnerable to the CVE 2020 1472. You can check that and read more about this this CVE. So to do that, we're gonna get clone, cd into the directory, and say Python 3 zerologon, I believe it's called, and we need to provide the that we are attacking the domain controller and the IP of the domain controller, which is this. We're attacking the domain controller directly. So here we are just testing that if the domain controller is vulnerable to this. If we get yes, which hopefully we'll get, we're gonna exploit this vulnerability. Let's wait and see. So while we're waiting, I'm gonna show you the so here the exploit steps. This is the exploit code. You can check that as well. And hopefully by now it's gonna be finished. Not yet. I'm gonna write, oops. So we need to get clone that, and we need to cd into the folder. I don't know what's gonna call, maybe CVE 2020 as the folder as here from the link, then 1472 and Python 3 CVE 2020 1472. Then I don't really know what's gonna be. Let me check over here. I'm gonna pause and get back once it's finished. So after a while, I've got success. This can be compromised. Then I'm gonna write the commands to get cloned next. We're gonna cd into that, and then let me check the name, Python 3, the exploit, and then I'm gonna say DC and provide the DC IP. So now it's gonna exploit that. It's gonna make a domain admin credentials after the password of the DC is blank. We can dump the domain hashes through that. using impact secret dump. Let's wait and see. Okay, so target variable, changing account password to empty string, and then we need to use this command. We provide no pass, that our DC has no pass, and we say the domain controller, which has the IP of the machine that we are provided with. We run that, we dump, then we get the administrator hash. We can either crack the hash or make best the hash attack. I'm gonna use psexec to use best the hash attack and get a connection to the administrator on the DC. Who am I? It's the anti-authority system. So now we can just submit the root flag, and that was it. Thank you guys for watching. You can, okay, that was very loud. You can watch the videos that YouTube's gonna recommend you, or watch the playlist of the OSCP journey. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next episode. Peace out.